everyone, it's Keith here. I've been using a pre-production unit of the Olight Warrior Mini 3 for about 5 months, and now that it's out, I'm very excited to share my thoughts on it. Before we get into the video, here's a quick disclaimer. This light was sent in for review, however all thoughts shared in this video are my own, and Olight have not previewed this video before its release. Also, since this is a pre-production unit, there may be some changes to the final version. I'll try my best to address them in this video. However, if I miss any, I'll leave a pinned comment below. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. First up, the brand new Warrior Mini 3 costs $89 US. This light runs on a rechargeable 18650 battery and has Olight's magnetic charging on the tail switch. The Warrior Mini 3 has a maximum output of 1750 lumens, which is the same as the Warrior Mini 2. Although the maximum lumen output is the same, there are a few changes. The max throw is now 240 meters, whereas the Mini 2 reaches 220 meters. The biggest change to the output is the duration for moonlight mode. It now outputs 0.5 lumens for 100 days, while the Mini 2 outputs 1 lumen for 45 days. The max output is plenty bright for EDC use, and the extra reach of 20 meters on the Warrior Mini 3 is a nice upgrade. For me, the longer runtime of 100 days for the moonlight mode is the most useful upgrade. Another change to the Warrior Mini 3 is the redesigned pre-activated proximity sensor. There are two key things to know about this redesign. When the light is up close to obstruction, while it's off and turned on in either high or turbo mode, the light auto dims to medium output for safety. The second thing to know is that when the light is already on high or turbo mode, and comes in contact with an obstruction, the light won't auto dim. I find the redesigned proximity sensor to work very well, and I prefer it over the older models. On older flashlights like the Warrior Mini 2 or Warrior 3S, the proximity sensor auto adjusts whenever something obstructs the lens. I found those a little bit annoying to use, but the new pre-activated sensor on the Warrior Mini 3 works great and haven't run into any issues so far. Next up, let's talk about the size. One of the things I love about the Warrior Mini 3 is its compact and pocket-friendly size. Here's a size comparison of the Warrior Mini 3 against some flashlights I own. From left to right, we've got the Olight Baton 3, the Voss Steed N-Ray Light Rook, i3T, i5R, the Warrior Mini 3, the PowerTac M5G2, the bigger brother Warrior 3S, and Phoenix PD36R Pro at the end. The Warrior Mini 3 isn't too big, and it's still very pocketable for EDC. I used to carry a PowerTac M5G2 for about a year, and the slightly smaller size is very noticeable. It feels much lighter and takes up less pocket space. Another advantage of the smaller size is that it's easier to fit into different pouches and organizers. Even though the Warrior Mini 3 is a medium-sized light, I can still get a full grip. For reference, I have pretty small hands and the light feels very comfortable. The aggressive knurling on the body is pretty grippy and there aren't any hot spots. The size and handling of the Warrior Mini 3 is just perfect. It's not too small like the i5R where it's difficult to hold onto, or too big like the Phoenix PD36R where you need a holster. In terms of other interesting features about the body design, it's got a crenulated bezel on the front, and on the side a two-way pocket clip in a single position for bezel up carry. I prefer carrying a flashlight bezel down because it's easier to grab and use out of the pocket. If you want to carry bezel down with this clip, you have to use the outer clip, and the tail end of the flashlight still sticks out a fair bit. The Warrior Mini 2 had two positions for the clip, and I'm not sure why they got rid of it. I'd love to see it implemented back in the next version. Although the outer clip works for bezel down carry, I just carry this light bezel down without using the clip in my pockets. Next up, let's talk about usability and my experience with the light. The Warrior Mini 3 has dual switches, a side switch and a tail switch. The side switch lets you turn the light on and off and control the different modes and outputs. For example, you can access moonlight mode, strobe, turbo, and turn on the lockout mode. One minor upgrade is the metal side switch. It used to be plastic on the Warrior Mini 2, and the metal adds more durability. Another major change is the tail switch redesign. When I first got the light, for some reason I thought it only had a side switch similar to the Baton series, but after a day of using the light, I realized that this had a tail switch. The tail switch design is very different to other flashlights I own. Most flashlights have a clicky tail switch like the Warrior 3S, but the Warrior Mini 3 has a much softer feeling switch that requires more force to turn on. It's not clicky at all, and the amount of force needed to switch on the light took a lot of time to get used to. Half press turns on medium output, while full press you can either program it to turbo or strobe mode. The full press has a subtle click feeling, but it's not audible. I should also emphasize that this is a pre-production version, and I'm not sure if there are any changes made to the tail switch. If you own the Warrior Mini 3, please let me know your thoughts on the tail switch in the comments. I've enjoyed using the Warrior Mini 3 during my few months of testing it, and it has the potential to be my perfect EDC flashlight. It's got a good balance of size, output, and battery life. The 1750 lumen output is plenty bright for EDC tasks, and the medium size is very pocketable. The main thing I'm not a huge fan of is the clip and the bezel up carry. The outer clip works somewhat okay for bezel down carry, but the light sticks out a fair bit out of the pocket. If they added back in the second position for a more concealed bezel down carry, the Warrior Mini 3 would have been perfect. The other thing was the softer feeling tail switch that needed a bit of force to turn on. It took some time to get used to, but once I did, it wasn't a huge issue. Overall, I think the Warrior Mini 3 is very close to being the perfect EDC flashlight. Specs and feature-wise, it's a solid flashlight that's worth considering. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. What are your thoughts on the Olight Warrior Mini 3? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.